As one of the world's failed states, Yemen has become a battleground for other people's wars and a breeding ground for terrorism. It is from there that Houthis, supported by Iran, have launched missile attacks on global shipping. There was another on a cargo ship tonight, which perhaps helps explain America's decision to brand them terrorists once more. Earlier, Iran's foreign minister said those attacks would only stop when Israel's war on Gaza did. The US and British military action that began 6 days ago has failed to prevent the launch of those missiles and drones. Well, tonight, Rohit became the only British broadcaster to report from inside Yemen since the joint US and UK airstrikes. For context, Yemen is located close to some of the world's busiest sea lanes. Geographically and politically, it is divided. The Houthis hold the northwest, including the capital Sana'a. Aden, where our team is tonight, and the rest of the south, and indeed east, is controlled by the Houthis' enemies, the breakaway Southern Transitional Council.
We're off the coast of Yemen, heading through the Gulf of Aden. It's the latest target of the Houthi missiles. A few dozen miles from here, a US-owned vessel was hit this week. This is a vital artery, but less busy than it should be, because these calm waters have become an unlikely front line. You can draw a line to here, from Washington or from Gaza, from Tel Aviv or Tehran, because this stretch of water now sits right in the crosshairs of old conflicts and new campaigns. And what happens next will have consequences for all of us. It was that attack nearby which today led the US administration to officially classify the Houthis as a terror group. But within minutes of that announcement, 50 miles from where we were, another American-owned commercial vessel sailing from Egypt to India was hit by a drone. Again, the Gulf of Aden was the location. Tonight, the Houthis said they were behind the attack, a response perhaps to America's announcement today.
If the Houthis cease the attacks, we can certainly reconsider this designation. If they don't, as the president said, we will not hesitate to take further actions to protect our people and the free flow of international commerce.
The rubble is old. You're looking at the result of fighting with the Houthis, who control territory north of here. The crisis at sea is just another chapter in this desperate decade in Yemen. The Houthis say they're doing what others won't, responding to Israel's attacks in Gaza. And although we heard universal support for Palestinians today, many believe the missile attacks will make matters worse for all.
Our priority is to support Gaza and our country. We support Gaza, but the Houthis are backed by the Iranians. This regime is Iranian, not Yemeni.
But at Davos today, Iran's foreign minister said it was in Israel's power to end the attacks against ships. And it gave it this ultimatum.
If
the genocide in Gaza stops, then it will lead to the end of other crises and attacks in the region.
Gaza is the issue, and Iran's public attempt at arm twisting today is a source of frustration for Yemeni soldiers fighting the Houthis, who fear their rivals are becoming emboldened. This drone operator, just back from the north, says they're stoking the conflict to win support at home. The Houthis must have known the potential consequences when they began attacking vessels. The crisis over shipping routes is about much more than commerce, and the potential for escalation may well be growing.
And Rohit joins me from Aden. Rohit, there's so many questions I could ask you tonight, but maybe I could just start with something that's confused me a bit. The Iranians don't seem to be encouraging their very heavily armed allies in Lebanon, Hezbollah, to up their attacks, and yet they do seem to be encouraging the Houthis to be attacking Western shipping. Do you see a logic clearly in that?
Yeah, I think that tells us one thing, Tom, which is that this so-called axis of resistance, this network of allies, is not a network of equals. There are different levels of autonomy. Hamas is not Hezbollah. Hezbollah are not the Houthis. And remember that although this is causing so much commercial impact, this operation in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden is fairly low cost and fairly low risk. I mean, they're putting up drones, Shahed Iranian drones, which cost around £15,000, which are being hit by sometimes £1 million American missiles. It's clear the Iranians have a strategy. It's not clear what that is. You know, they admitted today that yesterday they were responsible for a missile and drone attack inside Pakistan. The Pakistani government is furious. So now there are tensions towards Iran's southeast. It's not clear what they're doing. And what is clear is that the Americans don't seem to understand what their strategy is next as well. And so this evening, you know, there is more concern about whether this attack escalates, how it escalates, and where it escalates as well.